Halo 3 was one of the most popular games on the Xbox 360 back in its day, and just a few years ago it was upgraded a little bit for the Master Chief Collection. However, 343 did change quite a few things, or messed up quite a few things as well. And here are 10 of them, starting with the golf ball on the map Sandbox. So, basically all you gotta do is just in Forge spawn a golf ball under scenery. Now, at first it looks like a normal golf ball, but if you look very closely, the color is yellow. Now, what's wrong with that? Well, in the original Halo 3, it was not yellow. It was a white golf ball. So let's take a look at that in the original Halo 3 here. So spawning a golf ball, and bam, it is a regular standard white golf ball. I don't know why 343 would change the color of the golf ball on a Master Chief Collection, but they changed the color for some reason. So for number 2, the second thing they changed is, once again on the same map, the Tin Cup. So here we are on MCC, the Master Chief Collection, and we're gonna spawn in the Tin Cup. So at first glance, it looks the same, looks fine, but this flag here, it is a solid red rectangular flag waving around. So what's wrong with that? Well, once again, it is different from what it used to be on Halo 3 on the Xbox 360. So here we are again, back on the Xbox 360 version, and we're going to spawn the Tin Cup. And the base looks fine, but the flag is a triangular flag with a grunt face on it, and the word above the words PGGA. So once again, that's another thing they changed, and I don't really know why. Some people think it's because they're using an early version of Halo 3, but I don't know. For the third thing, same thing on the same map, is the golf club, or the 7 wood. Now, the object itself, from an outside perspective, looks fine, looks correct. But when we pick it up, there is no reticle, no crosshairs, and no ammo counter as well. And if you were to switch weapons as well, you would not have a golf club icon as your secondary weapon in the top right corner. Now on the 360, let's just show you what it's supposed to look like. So there's the golf club, we're gonna pick it up, and there's the crosshairs. And in the top right, you have your ammo counter as well as the golf club icon for the weapon. And in your secondary, you have the icon as well. So that is another thing that 343 messed up with this. And it's a pretty big deal as well. Now for number 4, the fourth thing, on the map Orbital, same thing, on Forge. There are 2 objects that are totally messed up and completely glitched out, and I don't know why or what they could have done to cause this, but it just does. So those 2 objects are the cardboard boxes, the larger one and the smaller one. As you can see, spawning them in, the game does not think you spawn any in. It still says 0 place on the map, and as a result, even though they're there, you can't pick them up, nor can you edit their properties, nor can you delete them. And if you were to save the map and come back, they won't be there anymore. So, why is that the case? Well, again, I have no idea. Everything else works relatively fine on this map. It's just those boxes and the smaller ones that have the issue. And even though the game doesn't think there's any place on the map, if you try to spawn more, see, it still says you have 8 you can spawn, but if you try to spawn more, it says you can't place any more on the map. And it's the same thing for both cardboard boxes. So going back to the 360, let's spawn the boxes again. So they're under scenery and towards the top, cardboard box medium and cardboard box small. See, as soon as we spawn one, we're already grabbing it. It does not just drop to the ground. We can edit the properties, and it does tell you there are boxes on the map. See, we can still spawn plenty of them, and once we run out, it does reflect that we ran out on the menu. And of course, we can pick them back up, and we can move them around. And if we save the map, they'll be saved, and of course we can delete them as well. No problem at all. Exactly as the way it should be. Now, for the next one, for number 5, this one is probably one that a lot of you have noticed, especially if you play custom games a lot, or even just matchmaking. But a lot of weapons around the map are just floating around. Like the brute shot right here, it is just floating there. Most weapons are floating a little bit above the ground. Some drastically more than others, others slightly more. But yeah, pretty much. And this isn't just sand trap. This is on pretty much every map in Halo 3. They're all floating. I don't think it does this in campaign, but at least in the multiplayer, in Forge and custom games, they are floating. And I have no idea why, once again, what they could have done to cause this. The funny thing is that when the Master Chief Collection was announced, they said that all these games would be exactly as they were when they shipped many years ago. And, well, they got pretty close, but it's just a few things that they simply got wrong, or possibly changed intentionally, and I don't know why that would be the case. So here we are on a 360. Another thing I forgot to mention is sometimes objects just simply don't spawn at all. But as you can see, they're all spawned here, and they are not floating. Now what's interesting is that for the brute shot here, the spawn point is actually pretty high up where it is floating. But when the game starts, it does end up where it's supposed to. So I'm not sure why there's that. I mean, even the spawn point is up there. I don't know like why on a 360 version it would be different. Unless like I said, MCC uses like a earlier version of Halo 3 that's not, you know, fixed. Now for number 6, as I said earlier, objects don't spawn, and I showed you earlier that the Warthogs were there and everything on the 360 version, but here on the Master Chief Collection version, you know, a lot of stuff doesn't spawn. Even if you switch to the right game types, they don't spawn. And sometimes if you start a new round, some things will spawn in, but other things they'll never spawn. You can still see the spawn points there, but you can't, you know, you just can't access them. They're just not there. Now, for the 7th thing on this list, this one I've actually talked about quite a few times in multiple videos, but in Forge mode, on all the maps that have guardians that actually attack you directly, such as Sandtrap, Snowbound, and Sandbox, those guardians are not there in Forge. They are still there in custom games and matchmaking, but when you're in Forge, they're not there. And I used to think that it was, you know, a new feature to make forging easier, but as it turns out, and most people agree, that that is just a bug, not a feature. But you know, if anyone's a software developer out there, there's actually quite a number of times where software developers do turn bugs into features. But in this case, it is a bug and something that 343 messed up about when porting Halo 3 over to the Xbox One version. So, and that affects all the maps on the Master Chief Collection that have guardians that attack you. Now here, just a quick look on the 360. We're also on Forge. Just going to drive right out. And once we are out in the minefield here, you can see the mines are already coming up and attacking us as we go. And you know, nothing has changed. They're still the same on a 360. They're still just as lethal. But for some reason that just did not carry over to the Master Chief Collection version of Halo 3. So unfortunately, I mean, it does help a little bit, but it is still a bug. Now for number 8, this is a personal thing, one that has bugged me for a while. But for those of you who use Bumper Jumper on Halo 3 and on the Master Chief Collection, you probably have noticed that the A button is mapped wrong. So when you're in a vehicle, you probably can't hear right now, but I did pick up a grenade just so when we switch grenades in a vehicle, it also hits the brakes of the Warthog. Basically, the action button for vehicles, like, you know, for braking or for banshee tricks. Those are supposed to be the left bumper in bumper jumper when you're using the vehicle, and they are the A button on default. But for some reason, 343 messed up the button mappings for bumper jumper, and the left bumper actions are still mapped to the A button. So when you press the A button, you're doing both switching grenades and the action for the vehicle, such as braking or banshee maneuvers. And that has really bugged me a lot because it's not supposed to be that way, and I'm still used to the correct bumper jumper controls. However, it is not, you know, the end of the world, because there is the universal bump and jump controls, which are mostly the same, and I do get the left bumper and A buttons correct, but still I prefer the classic bumper jumper. Now for number 9, this is kind of similar to the floating weapons in multiplayer, only this time it's in campaign. Now in campaign, things are slightly different, and it affects different objects a little bit differently. So the best example, and I think this has happened on a few other missions, but we're going to use the Covenant as the example here. On this part of the Covenant, on Master Chief Collection, as you hit the loading point there, there's a watchtower here, a deployable lookout tower, where brutes will eventually spawn on it. Now, this only happens on the Master Chief Collection, so watch closely what happens. So in just a moment, the brutes will spawn on it. And so far everything's normal, you know, does what they're supposed to do. But for some reason at this part, the brutes actually can push it off to the edge, meaning it was either in a slightly wrong placement or the physics are messed up for it, because it's not supposed to fall off. And so basically by the time you drive by, it's already, like, you know, fell off onto the ground. The whole tower basically collapsed. Now here we are in the 360 version doing the exact same thing. And let's see what happens this time. So the brutes spawn, and, you know, mostly doing the same thing so far. And that's it. The tower does not fall off. It does not get knocked off. It does not collapse or anything. So that is another thing that 343 has overlooked on Halo 3 for the Master Chief Collection. Now number 10. When you do theater mode for Halo 3 on the Master Chief Collection, in the past, whenever you took a screenshot, you would see a preview of your screenshot before you're asked to save it. So here, let's take a screenshot. See, no preview. It just skips right ahead to asking you to save. So you never get to see if your screenshot was good or not. No preview at all. Now, in a second, we'll switch over to the 360 version and take a screenshot again. The reason why this is important is because there used to be a glitch on the 360 version, which you'll see in a second, where if you take a screenshot, certain cutscenes, you actually get, it will reveal quite a lot. Now on the Xbox One version, there's no preview, so if you want to see your screenshot, unfortunately you can't see if you took it correctly or not, so you will have to end the theater mode session and go to your file share and view the screenshot, which we'll do right now, just to show you a little sneak peek of what we have. So for this case, I don't know if you ever saw my video, but there's like a whole secret world hidden behind the cutscenes sometimes, on certain cutscenes in the campaign. But that video didn't get too many views, unfortunately, but I'll show it again here. If you look at your screenshots, see what we just took? The whole canvas disappeared, the whole skybox area. Oh, no, yeah, the whole canvas disappeared, and revealing the actual skybox behind it, which is pretty cool, actually. Now, on the 360 version, when we do the same thing, in just a second. Alright, here we go. If we take a screenshot here, it shows you a preview, and of course briefly reveals the back. So let's do that again one more time, and there's our preview again. So, you know, it's a pretty useful thing. Unfortunately, 343 took that out in theater mode for the Master Chief Collection. So yeah, so those are 10 things that 343 Industries has changed or messed up about Halo 3. And I hope you guys found this video to be pretty informative. And if you did, make sure to leave a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. And as always, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for more videos coming up soon. And we can't wait to share them with you, of course. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.